Do it. Do it.
We're live. Hang on, I need to be able to see myself because I'm crazy.
I know. I kind of like that too. It is weird, right? I don't like it when I can't see us.
I know. I'm like, I got to be able to see it before I say anything.
Somehow that makes the talking okay. Like if I just talk that little circle, I'm like, eh. I don't know. You're watching.
I know. I'm waiting to say it.
Now we're here. There we are.
You're watching iCarly, brought to you by Sweet Kevin Walsh in Biscuitville.
In Biscuitville.
Oh my God. I don't need lunch now, Johnny. I mean,
listen.
Johnny's like, oh, listen.
Let's don't get all crazy.
Let's not lose our minds here.
I was a little sad because Kevin called and I had just eaten my egg sandwich. But I mean, I eat my egg sandwich every morning, so.
Your wonderful wife.
My wonderful wife.
Egg sandwich.
Out of the behinds of my own chickens. One day I'll be making my own cheese. That would be it.
Look, where's Mayor McCheese at? He's gonna be losing his mind.
Oh my God. I found something this morning about this dude, and I thought about the mayor, and it was like this guy talking about the differences in like made in the USA and assembled in, and all these things, how it could mean all these things. And he's like, our company, we make everything. And I was like, the mayor would appreciate this. And I appreciated it. No.
There he is. Cheese making, you said.
Did you say, someone say cheese? That's right. This is true. I think we got to plan our trip to go do a little recording.
Especially after last night. Me and JP did some rehearsing. JP was whooping my ass. David was like, oh, Sean's putting you through. I was like, dude, I'm out of breath. He's like, JP has got me beat, baby.
What are you going to do? We got Surrender in here. Man, Surrender, I haven't actually done anything yet, but I did mess around a little with the Amplifier.
There's so much going on with that little box.
Dude.
There's like an input at every angle. Have you seen it yet, Kevin?
No. You know what it is? It's like a...
Dude.
Bro, there is a button everywhere.
There's like...
Because I was like, Sean, they put a reverb on here and you can't even control it. And then he turns it up and it's on the front. And I'm like, what?
It's this little bitty knob. You're like, and not only is it a little bitty knob, right? You've got 3 different reverb like variations, like whether it's plate, spring, or ethereal. Is that the other one? We're gonna do a full.
We got some good pedal things coming because we got Kevin's Benders. We need to do a shootout of.
We do.
We got the Amplifier, and I feel like there's something else that I'm missing.
Well, I haven't told David this yet. I want to pitch our idea to Livestream audience,
live chat,
as well as Kevin right here in the room. This is like fun. We told Kevin like he needs to like be in the chat some and like just ask crazy questions in the room. Anyways,
say ridiculous things.
Here's
what it feels like in the room, guys.
We want.
What?
They're way less handsome off camera.
They're way less handsome. Which is saying something, because I don't feel like we're that handsome off camera.
Exactly. It doesn't start well.
What's the old man joke? The face for radio.
The face for radio, baby.
Yeah, we probably all have the radio face.
It's good. To the one idea, I'm gonna put Sweet David, we call him Baby Dave, on the camera, and
he is Sweet Baby Dave.
He is Sweet Baby Dave. He can do like he literally is David Gilmour.
He kind of looks a little like young,
David Gilmour,
angelic cherub like David, because there is this quality to young David Gilmour, and he's
a sweet baby. He's never done drugs. He wouldn't hurt anybody.
Got it. Tell us you never slept on the bench. No. Yeah.
So
it's fine.
He's going to do a little David Gilmour tribute on some of Kevin's gear. That's like what we've been working towards, because he does he can play Comfortably Numb, note for note. He does all that.
But he's got it like the feel and the vibe. You can tell he loves it. It's his thing.
Totally. And that's where it's like the high tone.
I brought him up 3 pedals today.
There you go.
Brilliant. I think we're gonna build a little board. I tore his whole board apart. He's playing in my band. Our band, if you will.
And Sean's a tyrant.
I'm a damn tyrant. I
went over there. Iron-fisted tyrant.
And I said, all right, listen. I was like, I love Pink Floyd.
No.
This has got to go.
No. Out.
And I started ripping it apart, and he was like, oh, okay. I was like, before I said, are you going to be okay if I change some things up on your board?
You ever heard of a clean tone?
He looked at me, and he went, yeah, no, that's no problem. I started pulling stuff off, and he looked at me, and I was like, oh, I'm killing him right now. I'm crushing his soul. He's like, what?
But in David's not to be too glowing about David.
Oh, he's
We
great.
don't want him getting
A big head. No, yeah.
But
You're still a failure in my eyes, son.
yeah, of course. He just wants to play and do it. So he's like open it. He's in that
He is,
stage where
yeah.
he's a blank book. He's like, yeah,
I will say,
let's do it.
I've been in other rehearsal sessions, and I should put it this way too. Like, the way that this is like I've written a lot of these songs. I bring them in. We might jam on the idea some, right? But I'm kind of throwing out what I want, and that can kind of suck if you've ever been a musician in that setting. I was in a band before, and I had done something like that, and someone didn't take to it too kindly. And looking back on it,
I'm right here.
I get it. I know. I'm sorry. But with David, I've gone up and I've like turned knobs on the amp. I turned knobs on the pedal. I'm like this, get this tone for me. And I'm like, all right, and I play it like that. And he is a champ about it. He really is. He just wants to play music and he wants to sound great. So he's like, I trust you. Let's have fun.
Homegrown Son's bringing out the oldies this morning. How do you get a guitar player off your front porch?
Pay him for the pizza.
I like the difference in a guitar player and a pizza. A pizza can feed a family of 4.
Bam.
No, ouch.
It hurts. It hits closer to home than any might know.
It's right there. I don't even have my microphone on, guys. It's rookie time. Rookie
But
time.
I mean, no one said a word.
No,
like
because I project.
well, you got a powerful,
I project.
you know. If you've never been in the room with Jonathan, it is as powerful as it sounds on a mic.
Try to tone it down. Hello,
Hey,
guys.
I mean, you'd have to talk like that.
I'm sorry.
It'd
I got a
be
large
weird.
diaphragm.
That baby can hold a lot.
The mighty Woodrow said that I was handsome as hell, but he's only saying that because he looks like me. So he has no hope for his own self.
Isn't that
says-
the next time he's in store for the little casino crew on Facebook? We need to take a picture of y'all side by side.
Well, it's funny because, like, surface level, the only real same thing is that we have long hair and a beard.
Yes.
His hair is like darker and he's like curlier.
Absolutely.
But there is still some strange,
Oh, there's a
like it's our souls.
there's a familial
We're
thing.
kindred.
There. I can feel it.
Kindred souls.
I think it's funny that y'all like come from a similar, like your area is pretty
well,
close. Like I grew up
that's-
in the
yeah,
same
yeah,
space.
that's
You know,
true.
there's I don't know, but also
I feel like we should have been better friends. Like we didn't know each other that well.
you know how that goes though.
You-
I've
but
got
it
friends.
wasn't because of anything.
No.
It was just because like
I have
proximity. You know
music
what
friends
Yeah.
that I got way tighter with outside of high school and all that. For whatever reason, in high school, we wouldn't touch each other with a stick. You would not ever see us together. We would never hang
I mean? But
out.
not just because.
just because
you just don't.
they
you know?
do that, I do this. No reason. And then you get outside of that bubble, and then all of a sudden you're like, dude.
But
you're
you have
awesome.
that thing when you're in school where you see somebody that you kind of think's cool, and you're like,
I can't
they,
talk to
they
them.
wouldn't like me. You know what I mean? You do that. You have that like self-hatred where you're loathing.
It's kind of like the guitar YouTube community.
It's a lot like that. No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't like it.
I saw a guitar YouTuber at NAMM, and I was a little disappointed. I'm not going to
Rick?
say who it was. He was way shorter than I thought he was going to be.
He's like Yoda.
He really is.
He walks around and there's this air of like.
It's funny he's doing this the whole
Importance.
time. He's like,
But you want to go talk to him, but you're like, nah.
I'm like, everybody's talking to him. I'm
I
bugging.
can't do it.
No, there was
One day.
somebody else though that I saw, and I watched his channel for a very long time. Very long time.
Uh-oh.
Music Theory channel.
I know
He
it
was
is.
wearing those little architect half boot shoe things, and I looked at him and I was like, "Oh, dude, that's sick." And I walked up and I didn't want to like bug him, you know. I just gave him a fist bump. I said,
It was
"Hey,
very
man,
casual.
love what you do, right?" I was like super casual.
That was it. That was literally the whole.
This motherfucker looked at
I
me and he
watched it.
went, "Okay," and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" I was like, "I didn't come up and ask you for shit." I was like,
As
"What
if
the
you
fuck?"
don't put out videos when you have million subscribers because you kind of a little bit want to be like, oh,
Yes.
people appreciate me.
Bizarre, the most bizarre thing ever. Anyways, should we tell them our little podcasty chat idea for pedals that we're probably going to try and shoot with the Amplifier?
Yeah, let's do it.
You wanna do that?
Let's do it.
So we got this idea where we sit down with the pedal, and we might have a little bit of knowledge as far as us trying to figure it out a little bit, but we go into it blind.
Blind.
And we're gonna sit here and play through it and try things with it and try and figure it out. And it'll be like an hour long, maybe more. And we just go through it. Like
Because I don't
we
even
would.
know that we use, like maybe we do the little quick guides in the main, but not the
Totally.
like, because
Yeah.
like the Amplifier, right?
Yeah.
Has this quick sort of thing, but not the in-depth manual. You know what I mean?
For a pedal that's that complex.
Which I get. It'd probably be big, you know what I mean? So you just download it. But Yeah, dude. I was stumbling through. I had to cheat and watch the Andersons video to get it sort of half figured out.
Would you not be okay with it being $10 more expensive to have an in-depth manual?
Yeah, I mean, what's $10? Well,
The Chase
I
Bliss,
would.
Same thing. They got that field guide, and I'm like, whatever goes into the cost of that pedal for that, way more important to me than the wooden box that they used to do. I'm like, that is cool.
It kind of, especially a pedal that, now if it's got 3 knobs and input and output.
Oh yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
About it. Yeah, but do
No.
the little folded piece of paper. You don't,
Right.
you know.
Suggested settings.
Yeah,
You know, like
volume,
Fender used to
gain,
have
tone, yeah.
Chicago Blues Rock on all the top of the amps, you know what I mean? And it'd be like the volume max, and you're like, oh,
Hell yeah.
cool. On like a twin or a basement, you're like, yeah, good. Great.
Yeah. I want a book. That's how I am.
But the book is cool. The book would be cool. And yeah, I think you're exactly right. But I think that would be fun video.
I think so too.
But we need to have some sort of warning at the front so people don't go, it says, like, that's not right. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, yeah.
hey, we're going to stumble through it together.
Like purposefully,
Yeah.
because what I used to love is getting a new thing and like sitting in a rehearsal space and like just tweaking the thing.
Yeah.
And me and like another guitar player just fucking with it until we were like, whoa, look at this
See?
sound.
My problem sometimes, pedals especially.
Yeah.
You get the pedal, I put it out, plug it in, and I'm like noon, or where I would like normally set everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, it sounds fine. And then
I do the same.
sometimes I should probably
Well,
do a little more deep dive, how everything.
yeah, the Brothers AM thing,
Right.
which is, we started this conversation the other day about it, and I was filling in Kevin on it. I personally have been like, I almost gave up on the pedal. I had tried it a couple of times, and I was like, I just don't like it. It didn't really sound right to me. And then I read the manual, and it said, dial in the one side first and really focus on that, and then add in the other. And I did that, and I was like, okay, I'm glad I did. Takes time.
Take some time. We got some new pickle settings from the mayor.
That's another thing. This would begin the kind of venture into, you know, our pickle settings, our pickle. What do we call it?
We had a name for it.
We did pickle fuzz, fuzzy pickles.
Something, I forgot what it was.
It would be like a place where we could do stuff like that and like talk through fuzzes, because
Yeah.
I have way too many fuzz pedals. But
Yeah.
going through them all and kind of like
You're like,
ranking them, I'd like to have a little whiteboard where we could say like,
there's so many fuzzes, you're like, that's neat.
yes,
But then like there's so few that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna
use this.
Like I might use it neat at home, but
But-
be like, oh, my board.
that's right. And I think it's hard to commit to a fuzz
It is.
sound because there's so
It is.
many, you know?
But then I hear a fuzz sound like someone
then
does
you
it, and you're like, God.
Well, it's like,
So
do you
good.
want the Velcro fuzz thing?
Well,
you want
I really,
sustaining
I
fuzz?
really think some of it is the whole deal where it's like sitting there on your own versus in the mix. What you imagine the fuzz sounds like is really the fuzz in the mix, right? Because
Totally.
when you hear it stripped back, you're like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's not what I thought.
It's hard to play just you and a fuzz pedal and be super content with that unless you're thinking
I
through
think
that.
that's why every Octavia I've ever played, I'm like, oh.
You're like, this sucks.
But it's and honestly, that occurred to me really hard listening to Zach person.
Yeah. Then you hear it in a
Because
band.
it sounds awesome in a band, all his fuzz stuff. And then when he has it just sitting here, it's not that it sounds bad, but it's
yeah.
not as like, wow, you know what I mean?
When
It's
you-
like, it's just got to
Yeah.
be in context.
You got to think a pedal like that, what's it based around? One note, right? Like you got to play one note at a time.
That's the other thing. And that doesn't fit my style very often sometimes. You know, I
Even-
have to kind of think.
Well, even if you did like fall into that range, right? I think it's really hard to make a singular note feel
Yes.
like it's going to
No, that's true.
fill it out by yourself.
That's there. People who can do that is kind of
That's crazy.
It's kind of awesome. It's a whole thing.
It is.
Amp settings, effects loop could also help. Yeah, I mean that's true. That's true. It's true, but no, fuzzes are. Oh, I was also going to say when we were talking about the manuals, I can't let this pass. The car manuals for the car amps.
Talk about every amp company.
Probably
every single one.
Honestly,
That's the best.
probably the best.
The best.
Like super useful. They're kind of fun. It's just cool.
Everyone should do that though. Everyone. We got a new array of 2 rocks behind me. they all need that. We've done a couple of companion videos for some of them as like a kind of visual manual to them.
Yeah.
We're gonna finish those. I've actually got a vintage
then there's-
deluxe back in.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new 2-rocks sitting right off camera. You can
beautiful.
sort of see them a little bit behind Sean, the beginning of them.
I mean, I've not been you guys know I'm not a 2-rock guy, but I did use one of these last night in rehearsal. I used a Bloomfield drive. And I was
Are you
like,
telling me you used company product in a book?
I wish I could say as to why it's important that we do that fully, especially because of recent events, but it's okay. I understand. I will have you know though, if you do buy a 2-rock from us, know that we do, like whenever I'm unpackaging them and I'm photographing them, I cut them on, I leave them on for 5 minutes
Yeah, we try
or
to
so,
make sure.
and then I plug it in and I play it for 5 minutes, just to make sure everything's right, working good.
Which
happen.
is, I mean, things happen just in the shipping because I know that Eli plays every single one at length
Yes.
before, like Eli now, not a team.
No.
Like
The guy.
Eli himself.
Yeah.
Which is kind of wild. But if you know Eli, if you ever talk to him, you're like, okay.
He's that
that's
kinda
his-
guy.
That's his, he's like dialed in, that's his personality.
Yes.
But, what a sweet dude, you know what I mean?
He's awesome.
I probably talked to him more than I've ever have this past NAMM. And I
I-
left liking him even more.
Yes. If there's
his
one
whole
thing
team.
that's been consistent at NAMM, and it's funny, the last 2 years that I've gone, it probably has to be the amp companies, being primarily Magnatone and 2-Rock. Like, Granville's amazing, Eli's amazing, the team at 2-Rock's amazing. It's just
Yeah, dude.
always good.
I would agree with
a
these
good
things.
time.
Mayor says he was doing brand research, talking about you. So actually, he should probably be getting paid. Hey, I like where this is
I
going.
like where your head's at. I was doing brand research because holy shit.
You were pumped up
Whoa.
about it this morning. And you're
I was
like,
like,
"Ah."
damn it. Like, because before it was
Calm
always
down.
like, oh, I'm not getting enough play. And then, like, playing it, and I was like, fuck, okay, I get it. I was like, this is cool. It's like,
I was like, I
shit.
can't get too rock lust right now. I need you to relax.
Dude, I can't afford
Relax.
that shit, dude. I'm like, oh.
The real James White wants to know: is the swollen pickle a dill, or a bread and butter?
No,
dill. I
dill.
can't say dill.
It's a deal, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
A bread and butter
butter.
pickle? You don't like bread and butter, do you?
Listen, I've never been a big pickle fan. There's other things that I enjoy, but now you know when my father hates pickles,
Really?
but I have grown and harvested a lot of cucumbers in my life. I mean, a lot.
He likes cucumbers, I assume.
No, he hates
Whoa,
cucumbers.
Really?
But we grow a lot of cucumbers. I'm being serious. This is not some strange
Dude.
innuendo. I mean, like, I've spent a lot of time bent over in the sun picking cucumbers. How-
Yeah.
But he hates pickles, and I've always hated pickles. I've always just been like, oh, pickles bad. Then my dear sweet wife's Nana
Loves pickles. Made her own pickles.
made these pickles. And I'd be like, I'll try them. And I was like, holy
You want to talk about something good, dude?
great pickle. Now I'm a pickle sort of. I've slowly won over by the pickles over the years.
Homemade pickles. Homemade. Have you ever had homemade pickled eggs?
Yeah.
Have you ever had homemade pickled beets and eggs?
No.
Holy shit.
Pickled watermelon.
Pickled watermelon.
I've never had pickled watermelon.
Oh, it's fair.
I've had pickled okra, all sorts of random peppers. Pickled jalapenos are awesome, obviously. There's all sorts of things like that I enjoy, but I've never had pickled watermelon. Would be interesting.
You know,
Pickled beets and with eggs.
with eggs in there, dude.
There's always pig's feet. No, just
Dude,
pickle them up.
we don't
You
kick
can
any of
pickle
that.
about anything.
It is funny, like, I'm gonna be turning the big old 28 this year,
Oh.
right? And for whatever reason, this last like 3 months, growing up, we always ate deer meat and like wild game all the time. My dad gave me some at Christmas, and we've only been eating like deer meat, and I'm like, fuck, I really miss eating this all the time. So I think I'm gonna have to get back into going hunting, and also I'm gonna have to start a little garden where I can pickle some shit.
You know who's got a good hunting spot?
I do know. I do
There's
know.
plenty of deer.
Look, this weekend, I think whenever I come up, I'll take a little break from the library, and you should take me over to the house, dude. I'm
Okay.
gonna go see the house. That'd
Dude,
be
the house
cool.
is almost it's so close.
I'm excited.
So close.
We'll have to go check it out.
It's so, I just need the house to be done. I need the house to be done. I have a few little anxiety knots that like live in me. You know what I mean?
I mean,
that overwhelming sense of foreboding, like it's probably gonna be fine.
have they? I mean, I think they're, in my opinion, it seems like they're ahead of schedule in certain ways, right?
They told us in the beginning that they would tell us longer than they thought it was gonna actually take.
Yeah.
So that hopefully, if they had bumps, they would hit that and not have to be like, oh, we had to push it back. So. They're honestly right about where they thought. Like, I bet it's into March, 1st of April. And what they really told us at the beginning was probably end of April.
Okay.
But I bet we're, if not into March, 1st of April. So.
Nice. I gotta fix the front end on the Tahoe, but I'll do that, and then we'll be able to move you in fast and in a
It'll be
hurry.
good.
We'll
We got
out
old
there.
Roland J. Beckerman's trailer, so we can use that thing.
Dude.
Might not even need a U-Haul. I might still get a little U-Hauls are so cheap. Like the truck
Cameron's
for the
got a
day.
big ass trailer he can
Does he?
attach to his brand new. Well, it's not brand. It's new to him. He bought some stupid ass truck. He put it's got a damn push bar on the front. I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
We're trying to start packing now.
So that. Yeah.
Bam. Just do it. And I'm
I
trying
like
to,
it.
by pack, I mean throw
I was gonna say,
things away.
how much? I remember whenever I moved into my house and I had like next to nothing, and I was like, man, I'm never gonna be able to fill this place up. And now I'm like, how did we acquire so much shit?
When you move next, Sean, I'm just telling you this because I've done it and I don't want it to be true. Kevin can probably attest to this as well. You will have things in boxes that you didn't open the last time that you moved. And that's where there's a crossroads.
And you say,
And you got to either be like, do I drag this shit to my new house?
or no, like,
Or
toss it.
do I just not even look in the box? I'm like, man, I hadn't needed it in 5 years. Probably won't need it in the next 5 years.
Don't even look at it because
I sat with my dear sweet wife the other day and dumped out about 10 trash bags of things that were going to Goodwill. She's like, I just got to look through it one more time. I'm like, these bags have been sitting here for 6 months. You hadn't thought once about, anything in them.
You're
whatever.
probably good about this, or at least to some degree. Anything that's in my closet, I wear. And if I don't wear it for like 2 years, and it's not something that I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear that one day for like something really cool, like I got an idea for it, I'm like, it's gone.
I can be a little bad about like, what if I might need this one day? You know what I mean? There's that part of me that like believes I grew up in the Depression, and I'm like, well, I might,
You never
one
know.
day. You never know. There's a little part of me like that because I spent a lot of time with my like grandfather growing up.
Yeah.
So it was like, I could turn hoarder if I let myself. I could be like, oh, I got it. But then there's the part of me that's like ruthless. And it's like, no.
It's gotta go.
And then sometimes I will overthrow away because I'm trying to counteract the part that says,
It's an interesting
keep it
dance,
all.
this life, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's
Oh,
ridiculous.
man.
It's ridiculous.
Todd, we were talking about moving and the craziness of that.
It's true.
What, I mean, we get into some more guitar stuff. We've
There's
had...
guitar things. Now listen, I might have heard a story about a guitar and Sean yesterday.
Oh, damn.
I might have heard.
Damn.
A little bird told me this morning.
I'm fucked up, dog. So, we have a good friend here at the shop, Randy. Me and Randy have known each other for years now. He's been coming in. I remember I was a little David. I was a little sweet baby Dave.
A little sweet blue-eyed baby David.
The day that Randy Colthorpe walked through that door. And I'll never forget, some other flunky worked here. And he looked at me and he said, look at this guy. This guy's gonna be annoying as hell. He ain't gonna buy nothing, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, no, seems nice enough to me.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
It was Baxter.
It was Baxter.
Baxter couldn't have been more wrong. No,
If you ever meet Baxter in person, you'll understand that there's no way in hell he ever says anything like that.
in fact, he's annoyingly optimistic about
positive,
things the other way. You're like,
You're
"Shut
like,
up.
Jesus.
We hate you.
So,
We hate you.
this guy, Randy comes in, and he walks up, and I'm like, hey, man, how's it going? You doing all right today? He's like, yeah. And we started talking, and he's like, yeah.
That's actually a really good person.
Yeah, I am. And he starts talking to me, and he's like, I got a buddy who just gave me 7 guitars. and I think I'm about to have a problem. And I was like, what's your problem? Like, we walked through the store, I showed him the old YouTube studio and everything, and he was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna buy another one. And I was like, okay, shit. And he bought like,
But that we can all relate to that problem. Everyone here can relate to that problem. Oh no.
He bought a guitar that day, and then he brought in these 7 guitars, and he had told me, he was like, can you restring and set these up? And I was like, yeah, dude, I don't care.
Sure,
so
I can.
I set them up, and he's like, all right, now I want to sell them, but I want to give one of them away to a kid. And I was like, dumb. And
Okay.
Randy is just that kind of guy, right?
He's a good
amazing.
dude.
He's a really good dude. He just loves guitar. He loves a lot of things, and he's just one of those guys.
He's a nice guy.
I don't know. He's one of those people. He always has like this, like a pocket full of odd things.
Yeah.
That it's like the same thing, but he's gonna give them out to people whenever he sees them and he talks to them. He's given us like bracelets before. He gave me.
This man has never met a stranger. He's just one of those guys. You know what I mean?
He's amazing, right?
Wow.
So he comes up to me yesterday, and he walks up and he's like, "Hey, man, I want to give you something. You look like you need a little something in your life." And he hands me a little Jesus, and he's like, "We could all use a little Jesus, couldn't we?" And that's like amazing, right?
Those guys are awesome.
He's got this Jazzmaster that I sold him back in like 2020, right? And it's an American Pro 2 Jazzmaster in Sunburst. And
Which is a very cool guitar.
Very cool. It was the first one we got in, and I think it might have been the only one that we got in. I played it back then, and I was like, damn, these are like really
good.
really impressive guitars. So
Maybe in that series cooler, and I don't say this very often, cooler than the Strat and the Tele, maybe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I
Just
think-
because of what they did
yes.
to him is kind of neat.
the Pro 1 Tele and Strats were better in my opinion. So I played it back then, and I was like, that's cool. I restrung it for him, set it up, threw it in the case, and he said, you got to give me another set of strings with it. I was like, okay. So I gave him the strings, and he bought the guitar and left. And he comes back in with a set of guitars this time around, and he said, I got a guitar that hasn't been played since you played it. He's like, open it up, you'll never guess. I was like, it's that Jazzmaster, isn't it? And he said, yeah, how'd you know? And I opened it up, and I was like, damn. And I was like, sweet. So I pick it up, I play the thing, and I was like, dude, this thing is badass. He's like, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get rid of it and a couple others because I want something a little different right now. I'm like, okay. So I plug it in last night, and I played not last night, the night before. I had some lessons, and then I played it for like 2 hours. And Baxter heard me upstairs, right? So
Shut the hell up.
Randy comes in, they talk. I'm giving you the long version of this story. Anyways, they talk, and Randy comes over here with Baxter, and he's like, hey, this is your guitar. And I open it up, and it's a Jazzmaster, and he's like, that's yours. Take it. And I was like, whoa.
It's pretty awesome.
And I played it in rehearsal last night, and it was dope. And yeah, we had a great time. I was like, son of a bitch. So thank you, Randy. You sweetheart.
Pretty awesome, man.
I struggle with emotions.
We have been very fortunate in our
Yeah.
you know,
I mean,
people who we would count as friends giving us things.
totally.
Even Sweet Kevin over there gave me
Kevin.
a pretty awesome fuzz pedal.
Yes.
Had guitars. We both had guitars given to us.
Yes.
Pretty. I mean, it's kind of weird, right?
It
Like
is.
I don't feel like that happens
No.
in every line of work where people are like, here, take this thing you really love.
Yes. I mean, and like,
Thank you.
you and I are very similar where when it comes to stuff like that, like I can't ever, I'll never get rid of that thing, you know?
Right, because it's
Yes.
yeah, no.
And similar to such, like Homegrown Son sent me a really cool like slide guitar. It's like this weird Dano thing. This has been years ago now, and I play it, but it hangs up in the studio in the back there, and I'm, you know,
it's just awesome.
It's
you
cool,
know?
you know. It's
Pretty awesome.
It's moments like that. It's like, damn, it's very touching.
The acoustic that I've been gigging with now for months that I play every gig, I slowly morphed to it with our friend
It's
Mark.
a great
gave it to me.
guitar, dude.
It's it's the nicest acoustic I've ever owned.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just like somebody was like, here you
Yes.
go.
It makes me.
It's kind of wild.
I think you and I are much of the similar cloth in this, that I very much a believer in you get what you give, and you give what you get kind of thing, you know? Like, I've given away guitars. I gave away a bass to one of my students that I was like, hey, I don't know if you're going to play bass for the rest of your life. I was like, but you should have this. I was like, I don't know why. I was like, but I think that this is going to do something for you one day. And
cool.
yeah, she
know?
ran with it and stuff, and I had somebody come in and tell me, be like, you gave it away? I would have bought it from you and all this shit. I was like, it's not about that, you know?
I wasn't selling it.
I wasn't selling it. It's like it needed to go somewhere that it needed to be, you know?
Dude.
So, yeah.
The mayor says the New Radicals get what you give. Underrated song.
Great song.
And the video was great.
I mean, that's one of those songs that I think should live on bigger than what it is. That's like a bittersweet symphony. You know?
in a weird, it is kind of nerdy. Like it's kind of a nerdy song, but in a wonderful way. Ed Schnur says, how long did it take you to learn how to use a slide? I'm still figuring it out. I don't know about y'all. Sometimes I think I can use a slide and then I'm like, oh, nah, I can't.
Well, it depends on what you, like, what do you want to do with it? Because slide to me is something that is very unique compared to, like, the rest of guitar is very unique per player, right? But slide seems to be even further in that realm.
There's a lot of things you can do. I think just figuring out how to like make a pleasant sound, this musical, and then you can do, you know, obviously there's things you can and can't do. I mean, just like playing guitar, but I don't know, man. I feel like it took me, like if I think about trying to play slide, I remember getting a slide and trying to play like the little intro to Freebird and sort of halfway being able to do it. And then messing around with it for a few months and then not messing with it and then trying to play a little like single note line. Like it was, I think it was years of that before really getting to feel like confident or a little bit comfortable. And then there was a while there where I thought I knew some slide things, but I'd still be scared, like, am I going to make the note? Because, you know, there's that thing when you play slide, especially if your guitar, the action didn't jack way up and you don't have heavy strings, where you're like, crap, am I going to, like, fret the note out? Too much pressure or not enough pressure? I've done that live, where it's a big moment, I just go, and nothing comes out. Like, oh, no.
Is it, and because I've seen you do amazing things with a slide and a lot of situations. Isn't it funny, though? And I know this is true for me, and if you want to find it, it is out there on the internet. I went to do the bottle trick, which I've done before and done fairly well with it, because I have more like do the chaotic thing with the slide, where I'm like, I wanted to be like messy and sloppy and kind of shitty.
Yeah.
The one night that I went to do this, and a local, I guess we could call them a reporter, pulls out their phone to film me, they catch me doing the absolute fucking worst with this thing. It was like, and it fretted out just like you're talking about, and it made that god-awful buzz. And I, like, you know, if you miss it once and you lose the confidence behind it, you're like, fuck,
then you're done.
Stop.
You're done.
I just gotta stop.
Well, I used to do the slide, the beer bottle thing in Nashville downtown a lot, right? Because, you know, it's like a tourist thing, right?
Yeah.
And you just pick up the bottle and you start playing with the bottle until somebody notices. And once one person notices, and everybody like, you're like, oh my god, you know. And man, it's so stupid, because I knew what beer bottles I thought were better glass.
Well,
and you got to think about the label.
Yes.
Because there's got to be a spot where the label's not there.
Yeah.
Right. And it's different if it's full or not. Because once I got good at that, I would find somebody in the crowd, like a girl, and I'd be like, let me hold your beer, and then I'd take her beer and then play it and then give it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just a funny thing, right? Like it's the amount of pressure and just the confidence to like play the hard enough but not too hard.
Yes.
Is and I still screw it up a lot. So
once again, though, I've seen you pull off some really amazing stuff with a slide. I've
had a moment. It's funny because you'll have a moment where you're like, yeah.
Yes. I think.
And then straight away, you're like, oh.
Yeah. The thing about slide guitar is it is very unforgiving. I think it can be that brutal where you fret a note out and it's like.
Sometimes you're like Baby Derek Trucks. Sometimes you're like Robbie Krieger playing the national anthem. And you're like, oh no. Listen, I know you love Jack White. I've seen some rough Jack White moments where it's like, dude, I don't know if you need to play that on slide.
And you're like, oh man. But it's also.
Pitch becomes relative. Timing becomes relative. You're like, oh, okay.
I see stuff like that though, and it gives me hope, because I'm like, okay. It doesn't just happen to me. It can happen to anybody. Anyone.
It can happen anywhere. Yeah.
I suck, but that guy, people like, he's great. Like, holy shit, he fucked it up.
Oh man, no, it's bad, dude. It can be really bad. It can be bad. William Robinson did send us a T-shirt. We have talked multiple times about wearing our Blues Doctor podcast shirts, and then we just never.
If you want to send me anything, if you're like, I'm going to send you a T-shirt, I beg you, don't. It's okay. I appreciate. You could send me a text message instead. I am the worst about T-shirts.
I'm just gonna wear the T-shirt on my own next week.
I was gonna say I'm like
I wear
horrible. Just because I have like a weird, like you'll see me wear this shirt 1,000,000 times. I will not. There's no way I cannot wear this shirt 1,000,000 times. I just have like things that I pick out, and I'm like,
I always feel
love
like
that.
this is a paint thing, and then I realize it's a person. I'm
And
like,
it
oh,
slowly disappeared over time. I don't know why.
I got a shirt like that though.
It's probably, you know, a little bit of the tism or something. You know, I'm like, I gotta wear the same thing. Like, it's just that. I don't know. So, forgive me. Sweet Ed Bud Cole gave us Fender shirts.
Who's worn them?
Jonathan has wore all three of them.
But not Baxter and Sean.
Me and Baxter
Someone
are the
here
same
is
kind
appreciative.
of, you know.
Yeah, you guys are. Y'all, yeah, the fact that you're not really related is kind of odd.
Scary.
Because you're the
We
same
are.
little demented minds and souls.
Exactly.
Todd said that even the Jack White like rough moments are cool, which is true. That's the rock star thing though.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, whenever you see somebody, it's like Hendrix, you know? We've all heard it. We've all heard the live
Oh
tapes.
yeah. but you're still like,
You're like, damn.
damn.
You know why? Because it's like that, they're on the edge thing.
Well, but
know?
it's Dwayne Allman did the same thing. You could have kind of felt like, oh, okay, it could go poorly.
Yeah,
You know?
go back.
And I think that half of the attitude is that like you're like, damn, they don't care at all. You know what I mean? And there's something really freeing
Yes.
about that, right? To see somebody who's just like,
Well, and
it's out there.
the confidence to push right past that, you know, and not get hung up on it. It's like the Jack White, not Super Bowl, but what did they play? The Detroit Lions.
It was the game,
thing.
yeah, in Detroit, yeah.
And he starts into the song, and you hear it. It's like, oh, that's a little rough. And then he like conquers it. You're like, badass. That is rock and roll.
Mortbot says the intro to Avalon is one of my favorite slide leads. I much appreciate that.
That is one of my favorite things we've ever
Well,
worked on, like recording.
Sean and I recorded that by our little selves, and back when the YouTube studio was in the other building. One night, messing around. We
Using-
used like 4 different slides, seeing what sounded
Yes.
coolest.
Went through 4 different amps, but ended up using 1 amp on the whole song.
The whole song, which was my little Supro Comet that Jack Stowe has now. And that was the beginning of my love for. I had thrown the mag slide I had in a drawer because my sister brought it for me. I had it from Wilmington, from was it the Music Lofts? Yeah. And so she had found it, like bought that for me for my birthday, and I was like, I don't know, seems like a gimmick. But we were gonna. I knew we were gonna do that song, so I brought all these slides. You know,
He had a slide tray that he's brought, which
And,
we did a video on. Yeah.
and we went through them, and Sean's like, "That's the best sounding one." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then we did the slide part, and then we did that intro, and then we tried it with some weird effects and did all this stuff.
All
And we were
kinds
like,
of
"Nah."
I was like,
just
let's
put
make it
raw.
like old radio shitty sound.
Which
all
I
these
thought
things.
was,
We did a bunch of things.
that was gonna be kind of cool, but
And then-
ultimately it like took away, and then
Yes.
we were like,
The rawest, most in your face. Like I think it was just like enough compression to like pull it up, and then we were
it was
like,
just
okay.
a moment. That was just a cool moment. That was just a cool recording moment because I don't know that I've ever made it exactly like that again.
What's
you
cool
know?
is like hearing it in my head because I can hear it right now, thinking about how it's literally feels like it is perfectly structured in timing. You know what I mean? Like you like nailed it in that take. Like it's just it's not cut
but
together.
it was such a funny thing, right? Like
Yeah.
it was just a funny. It just worked out for the moment. You know
It
what I
did.
mean? Sometimes that's what you want is those moments. So
What's cool with that too is whenever you hear that track specifically, and I'm sure like the stuff you will have coming out here soon, it's like you're big about a one take, you know.
Well,
you're not cutting together a bunch
I
of
like it
takes.
to feel like a performance, right? And I'd almost rather it be a little looser in that than call. And I've been in the sessions, like not for my stuff, where it's like a million takes and then they put all this junk together.
And they cut it 100 times across the thing, and you're
And
like,
it's sometimes that's really cool, but then you're like, God, could you ever play that? Like, because it'll be like weird,
Yeah.
And I've had to like learn stuff like that before, like where you cut it and they comped a bunch of takes and then put it together, and then the band you're playing for wants you to like play that something close to it live. It's like, oh God, but but that was just really fun. Surrender says, when is my new stuff coming out? So I can tell you guys this. I've got 3 songs that I did down in Atlanta with Eddie 9 Volt, which is really fun. Probably, I think, some of the best stuff that I have ever recorded. And a lot of that was I let Eddie produce it.
Yeah.
So it's just he pushed me in some ways that were good. You know,
having heard them, I think it is easily the best recordings that you have, but also like some of these songs you might have already heard out there. They are these versions of them are like the fullest, most.
Well, there's only one that is out there. There's only, and then the other two have never actually been recorded. So that's kind of cool. But anyways, the only thing I'm waiting on is so Eddie produced it and played drums. His brother that plays bass for him, Lane, did all the engineering and the mixing and the mastering. Yeah. There's a little vocal thing that I'm waiting for them to revise on probably my favorite of the songs. Yeah. But there's just some harsh, like sibilant kind of things. So as soon as that gets fixed, I'm going to put them out. But those guys have been crazy busy. And in fact, they just, they're going on tour with the Black Keys. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see yesterday. That's going to be dope. What you got?
Did you guys ever set up a date where 89 Volt was coming to Southern Pines to play? Is that everything confirmed?
There was a March date and then an April date, and then there was some kind of thing between the management and the Sunrise and getting the dates set. Because the original date Baxter was going to be gone for, and we were like, well, that's not going to be great. So I think they're still trying to nail down the date, but the date is fast approaching, so I haven't even heard if that April date is nailed down. I will try to find that out and put it out.
Yeah, you talked about it, then it kind of went away.
The date was, they made a date, and then literally it was scheduled for the 1 week that Baxter is like gone. And then I don't think that they were 2 or 3 dates after that, and I don't know if it's been nailed down. But he is supposed to be coming late March, early April, so we'll see what happens.
No, definitely. Anyways, I hope I'm actually got a meeting with Tim at the Sunrise tomorrow. I will ask him.
You can ask him.
And then next week I will double up on it. And then hopefully what I'm meeting with Tim on tomorrow is really cool. I have some cool news for everybody, and we'll make sure to let everyone know so that you can come up and see it if it does come to fruition. Because it should be a fun time. It'll be a little casino thing.
Let's see. Yeah. What is the deal with the guitar picks you guys are always talking about, and where can I get them? Well,
which picks? There's a couple of companies.
I'm assuming it's Honey Pick. What a loser! No, the Honey Picks are the ones that and these are all almost. There's one V pick in here, 2 V picks in here. The rest are Honey Picks, but the Honey Picks, man, I don't know. It's a funny thing, right? Because I started using V-Picks like years and years and years ago, which are thicker and acrylic. And I mean, they're not all thick, but I like the 3mm ones. And
I'm gonna do it.
I don't know. I think once you get used to those, it's just a preference thing, right? Like there are times where they make this chirp sound in certain situations, and it's not ideal. And that's almost when you need just the regular old
so
Fender or whatever, celluloid thing. But
I have all of my V-Picks at home. I still play a lot of those. I want to get into the Honey Picks. I just need to go on his website and look at what is comparable to the Snake that
we've talked to him.
Yeah.
And he'll make you anything. They do custom orders. But we have talked to him about coming and bringing a bunch of picks. And I don't know if we do it. I think we probably do it as a long format video.
Yeah.
Or maybe even if we do it as a live stream, maybe we do it in the evening or something. But those guys are really cool, and they're trying to go full time with that because I think they both have jobs at this point. But I think this is the year they're trying to go.
I've definitely changed up my whole thing. What's funny is you can see how much those picks burn, the casino ones. So this one is actually Johnny's. Mine were the blue 1mm, and I've kind of shifted away from those. These 1.5s, I don't know what they're made of.
I don't either.
I've been playing. I mean, look at that thing. Like.
They're actually really good picks,
They're
man.
really
Those
good.
are the ones we sell in the shop. We all picked out a different one, and we got other sizes too, but those were I was like, we gotta have these, the thick ones.
That is like nuts.
The big boys.
To see, like just the like wear on that one.
Well, and I hate when they get bent.
Yeah.
And I don't like any give in my picks. I just keep my grip loose, you know, and then
the only
when I want to pick
picks,
fast.
And I don't know why, I don't know what it is. I have been obsessed with the Herco 7.5s. The Flex 7.5s. So much so you can't find them anywhere. My sweet grandmother actually, I think because my wife told her, She said, listen,
Kind of awesome.
we go to guitar centers, we go to other music stores, they don't have Hercos. He really wants a bag of Herco picks. It's like $10, and this is like the most used Christmas thing that I have. I'm like,
That's a very thoughtful,
it is
useful gift.
Yeah, because I do like these.
Well, somebody mentioned gravity picks. Those are great too. I went through an arc of V-picks, gravity picks, sort of back to V-picks to honey picks. And I mean, I've still got all those that I use, but I tend to, I've kind of found a shape I love in the honey picks, and that's kind of what I use. But is it D'Addario makes a acrylic one too? That's pretty cool. I was using those for a while. But
Yeah.
There's all
cool.
sorts of good.
I think for me, it's I like the V-Picks ones that I have. I'd like to talk to the Honey Picks guy just because it's North Carolina based, and to me, that's really cool. You know,
and they're
I
just
wanna
good.
support 'em.
Good. Which Vinny is good too. You know, I like Vinny from V-Picks too. I've been to his place a few times.
Denny Giosa, I think that's how you say his name, who we meet up at the Asheville Guitar Show every year. He's an amazing human being. I love that guy.
Not me, I hate him.
Jonathan can't stand
I
him.
hate him.
He had
That'd be really funny.
a gravity pick that was a signature one. We swapped picks last year, and he was asking me, he's like, well, what other picks you use and stuff? I said, well, I was like, there's this Honey Picks guy that's here. He's great. I was like, you should talk to him and link
He's
them
got
up.
like he's like a honey picks artist or whatever now, right?
He's
Yeah.
got like a signature one. I'm like, that's fucking dope. So check out that one. That would be one I'd like to play because he's got cool taste in picks.
I gotta answer this because it is near and dear to my heart.
Go for it.
Thoughts on a Hot Rod DeVille 4x10? Sean, got any thoughts?
I heard Emily Wolf play one in the Rooster back whenever that was going, and she asked me, she was like, what do you think? We were doing sound check, and she was like, do you want to mic it up? And I said, no, I want you to turn it up.
Oh.
And I think it sounds sick. She made that thing rip, dude.
That was my first ever sort of big boy amp that I bought it by accident in a pawn shop in Myrtle Beach. Dick's Pawn. That giant one, you know what I'm talking about? Right between North Myrtle Beach and Myrtle Beach.
Dude. I only think of Dick's Restaurant. That's where my head went.
Dude, I was so stupid. I went in that place and I had this little, just horrible Randall like practice amp. That's what I always played through. And I didn't know, you know, solid state.
Was it like carpeted?
No. It was like green Toilex. It was just what they had at our little local music shop. And I was like, yeah, an amp, you know. And so I remember going in with my friend James to the pawn shop and seeing like, oh my God, a Fender amp, you know. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was looking in the back and I was like, man, it's like light bulbs in here, James. Because I didn't really know exactly what tubes were.
I mean, yeah, I get that.
And there was no internet in the same way, right?
Yeah, no.
So I'm looking it up and I'm like, are these valves or tubes? I don't know. Because I did not know.
Yeah.
And I didn't look it up on my, but anyways, I just was like, this Fender amp's got to be better.
Yeah.
So I traded my little Randall and like $400 for this Hot Rod. I didn't know anything about it, right? Like nothing other than it was a Fender.
Well, that's a serious fucking amp, though, you know? Going from solid state to that.
James was like, have you been practicing? I was like, no, the amp just sounds a lot better. But I had that amp for quite a while and loved it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just kind of have it's
a soft spot. I get that.
Sentimental thing for me. So, I mean, I'd play a 410 DeVille now, but I like the 410, I think, better than I like the 212. And I've always been a fan of 410s. And then my first, like, nice amp after that was a Bassman because it was a Tweed Bassman. I loved the 410 thing. But I think that's what kind of got me in the beginning.
It sounds like we're
The
going to have to
two-bug.
I'm just going to, anytime I go into a pawn shop, I'm going to buy a fucking DeVille for like $200-300. I'm going to be load it up and I'm going to bring it to your house and you're going to have a wall of DeVilles.
That would be amazing. I'd play, like, if I could just chain them all together.
Imagine that, like
I
12
would line
DeVilles.
my garage with Fender Hot Rod DeVilles. But I mean, those are the old ones, right? Like, because, you know, there's old 90s ones that are made in the USA.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they started making them all in Mexico. It's not that those are bad, but I do think there's something cool about those old made in the USA DeVilles.
We're going to have to go on it, dude. Guitar Safari for 90s DeVilles.
Well, and I didn't have pedals back then. So, like, having the little foot switch, you know, with the gain and stuff, and then the more drive, you know.
Listen,
I was like, yeah.
I would play the shit out of a Hot Rod Deluxe. Like, it's funny playing stuff like this, right? Like, this is $6,000. I have as much fun playing a Hot Rod Deluxe as I do a
How
Two
many?
Rod.
I gotta be careful how I say this. There's a lot of amps that we get in, right? Not necessarily brands we carry, but like, you know, things that come through, right? Like somebody trades in, right? And we're like, well, that's like a really nice Hot Rod Deluxe. Like, we've described multiple things.
Constantly.
like that. That's like a really nice but I mean, I used to drag that thing down to like Beaufort and all these places around Charleston to play with this like semi-acoustic act. And that was because it had reverb. It had 2 drive stages and a clean.
I mean,
and just rock and roll.
Stuff like that though. It's like you almost can't get away from it.
But I
like
didn't know how good I had it, right? Because that was just like a solid good sound. And I just didn't. I would have ruined, back then I didn't know what I was doing. If I'd had pedals, it would have been garbage. Like I would have been oversaturated and like, you know what I mean? It would have been bad.
Well, and that's where like
that was good for me.
Before we started this, I was saying how I overgain pedals. Whenever I use an amp, it's not impossible, right? But it definitely keeps you in the range of like, hey, this isn't gonna absolutely decimate your sound on the mid-low end and shit where it gets all flubby.
But all that to say, thumbs up for me on the 410 DeVille. And then I had a weird journey from there because I was still really young for that, right? And then I didn't have a band. I was living in Charleston, and I really wanted a nice acoustic. I'd never had a decent acoustic.
Oh, that's right. This is the dark era.
And I actually sold all that junk, and I was electric guitarless for like a year and a half. But because I found so dumb. I found this Taylor guitar. And again, those were like unicorns back then in like 2001. You just didn't see them everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, and if you did, they were expensive, right? And like Taylor was like, it was the new thing. You know what I mean? It was like cool, or it was to me. You know, and I remember looking at Taylor ads and like Guitar Player. And so, anyways, I had this. It wasn't even that nice of a Taylor. It was like an old 1998 310. You know, CE. And then I had
the classic.
I had what I thought was cool, and it actually was. I'd like to play this guitar again now. I had a Tacoma Mini Jumbo Solid Koa, and I had those. Clue. I had those 2 acoustics for a while. That was the only guitars, and I would sit in my little apartment that I paid $225 a month for.
I've never even heard of a Tacoma.
They were a cool company. They were made out of Washington State, and they were kind of neat.
Still the dark period in my opinion, though. I'm like no electrics.
It was, but I would sit in my little apartment and practice electric things.
Oh yeah.
But then I was playing gigs, you know, and stuff with the acoustics.
Don't get me wrong. As from a guitar player standpoint, then you probably got good as fuck in that period, you know?
I literally like, dude, that was, I forget how old I was. I was like 19, 20. No, zero money. There was a year, I think I lived off 1 meal a day from the dollar menu at McDonald's. And I would go to my little job in the guitar store. And I would come back and I'd sit in my apartment and I wouldn't speak to a person. I wouldn't do anything. I would just play. I was like, oh, okay, this is great. This is the life.
I didn't realize how dark the period was.
Dude, it was a little dark for a while there. And then I didn't get, let's see. Then finally, this might have been right after Christy and I got married. She was like, we have to go buy you an electric guitar. And I was like, okay. And we went and bought a Highway 1 Telecaster. They had just came out. That was like in 2003.
Those are badass, though.
I wish I should still have that guitar.
That's like a sleeper hit in that time period.
I had the blonde one with the white pick guard. That was a great guitar, dude. And I bought a Digitech all-in-one. I know. You can't win them all. I was batting 500.
Dude. Speaking of Digitech, Brad Arnold just passed away. Yeah. There's a lot of 3 doors down happening at that point in time, I'm sure.
Who, like his music or not, seemed to be an amazing dude.
Oh, yeah.
Joey knows that guy. You know that? Joey Boswell has a connection to that guy. And
shit.
Always spoke really highly of him. So. Yeah.
I've only seen like great things. Like nobody's like trashed him.
He was horrible. Wouldn't that be funny if someone died and it just everybody was like, no, good riddance, we hated him.
Finally.
I don't know. But, I get the occasional 3 doors down request in my gigs.
I mean,
and I won't do Kryptonite, but I'll do some. There's a few of the other ones like that Here Without You song is cool, but the one that I like to do if somebody requests is that If I Could Be Like That. I always thought that was kind of a neat song. I could be like that. Yeah. Spends his days up in the canyon. You know, it's a good song.
It is they're of a time period that music took a turn. Okay. And I think if you're closer to my age, it definitely falls into this funny, like, there's this almost post-irony thing to all the music from that time period. And I try to give those bands credit because, like, even like a Nickelback, all right? We all love to hate a Nickelback. Here's the thing, though. I was explaining this to Sweet Baby Dave next door.
We have to call him Sweet Baby Dave for now.
Oh,
Can we do
totally.
a Sweet Baby James cover, but make it Sweet Baby Dave and just play it all the time?
Yes,
He also
absolutely.
doesn't like Dave. He likes David.
Yeah,
But
so
Sweet
it helps.
Dave, it's even better.
Sweet Baby Dave. He's
Sweet
gonna be like,
Baby
"Damn it."
Dave.
I was telling him, I said, here's the thing, because he was like trashing Nickelback hard, and I was like, totally, right? Like, deserved. It's lame, you know? You go listen to that sex song, and you're like, yeah, this is pretty lame. But the production value on those records is fucking insane.
It's like a corporation did it.
It's bizarre, dude. Like, they strum a G chord, and then it's like everybody in the studio said, hang on, hold it.
Whoa.
Okay, stop, pause. Okay, tune that thing.
Strum it again.
Strum it again. Like, literally, like every chord.
Do you think
Boom,
that I mean, like, in some
boom,
ways, that was the
boom.
beginning of that level of, like that whole era,
Overproduced.
right?
I
Like
think-
the corporate kind of butt rock.
You know what I
kinda,
think it
you know.
is? It's the culmination of, because that's like 2004, whenever All the Right Reasons comes out. You're going to get all the knowledge now, the nickel facts, if you will. I did a radio show where we did nickel facts. It was great. I did it for like 3 weeks. Anyways, from 94 to 2004 when this happens, grunge ends, right? The gnarliest, most punk, like who gives a fuck, mic this thing up loud, crazy, gnarly, everywhere. Like it's just messy, right? And you're getting all this big sound. And then that slowly turns over into these very polished post-grunge bands who are giving you the emotion, but they're also giving it to you on a platter of overly produced corporate rock world stuff, you know? And I do think Three Doors Down
It's
is
fast food, right? It's
Yeah.
it's like making a meal with like cheeseburgers that you went and hand patty and all this stuff, and it's messy and it's nasty and it's amazing.
Yes.
And then you go to McDonald's and it's the same. It's the same.
the same.
But it's not the same. But I mean, you can even hear that like somebody was saying Matchbox 20. Like I'm a legit Matchbox 20 fan. I like Matchbox 20. Somebody said they'd take Creed. You can listen to the first Creed and Matchbox 20 albums, and they're still kind of raw. It kind of sounds like somebody just made them.
Same
and
thing
they're-
with Nickelback?
You know, and then all those
that.
bands though by their third or fourth album, and people were realizing, oh wow, we could cash in on this.
They shined
And-
that shit
and
up.
Suddenly there's a horn section, and suddenly it's like, wow, this is so shiny.
Yes.
And I prefer
Yeah.
all the early stuff.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Well, and
but
it's funny you bring up Matchbox 20 because I do have a soft spot in my heart for a Matchbox 20 and a Rob Thomas, all right? We're not talking about Santana here, okay?
no.
We're
not smoothing it.
Yeah.
We're just talking.
Talking
But
about-
first Matchbox 20 album,
and
and a few more. But first one was awesome.
Where are the hits at? You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that first album had 5 hits on it.
It's
5 radio singles.
You go and listen to that. And honestly, what sucks is that first record, and I'm going to throw some names out here and some people might be like, no fucking way. That first record sits way closer to like a Tom Petty
It does.
than it does anything that they would do later on in their career whenever the pop world kind of forced them
I think that was
into a
his.
box.
He was left to his own sort of devices in that first. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
yeah.
I mean, that band was a little bit manufactured, right? Because
Totally.
he was trying to make it. I think the band was trying to make it, and the label said, "Oh, look, you guys would be perfect for each other." Which, you know,
Listen, it worked.
that's better than like the boy band. I mean, you know, it's not
Oh.
quite that level, but
Well, yeah, and that is where like in the mid '90s, after grunge, I have a bit of a hypothesis on this, right? So you have
I'm somewhat of a scientist.
I'm a somewhat of
myself.
a scientist. You have you know you have like A&R guys going out finding bands and stuff like that. Nirvana signed, all this happens. There's all this hype and this build up, right? What other musical movement like grunge is so up and boom out? You know?
Yeah.
Kurt Cobain kills himself, and I think that shook the record labels so much, to know that it's like, oh, it can just be over, right?
Yeah.
Because that like killed grunge music. Like at that point, it still went on, but it was fucking dead.
They're
dude.
like, we can't leave it to the artist. We gotta.
Exactly. So
It's
they
too
went,
volatile.
Yes. After that, you see them have overly produced bands that
They
they are
ruined rock
controlling and holding on to until you turn into Scott Stapp thinking that the FBI is listening to every fucking move that you make and you
maybe
lose
they
your
are.
fucking mind. right? Like, that's what
Listen.
Britney Spears.
It's not as wild as we once thought.
No, all of those artists from that time period, think about them. It's a disaster. Now, here's where they perfected it. Look at Taylor Swift. Britney Spears, Taylor Swift. It's come a long way. Like, they're like, okay, give her just enough rope. That's what this is. That's what it is, dog.
I mean,
That's my thing. And I think DMX killed grunge.
Creed makes Three Doors Down look like Malcolm X. That's really hilarious. I will say that, like, the first Creed record was pretty awesome. By the time you get to the Weird Human Clay, it's like, I would take the majority of the Three Doors. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, when Three Doors Down came out, I enjoyed them a ton. But I did Nickelback too. Like, when that first How You Remind Me song dropped, I was like, oh, this is cool.
It's hard for me because I was like, all that music is around when I'm really young, right?
Yeah.
And what's hard for me about that, it's like I can't help but look back on it and be like, God damn. Like, if I see an Affliction shirt, if I see designer pocketed jeans,
But dude, you can look at
low-rise
you
jeans.
can look at almost any movement of it that becomes pop.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like,
Well-
by then the like machine was in full swing,
Totally.
right? And we didn't really have that in in the same way. But now some people are mentioning some like Third Eye Blind, amazing.
Yeah.
That album I think holds up. But I think the first Matchbox 20 does too. But that album's amazing. I could listen to that right now. And then the initial Post-grunge was pretty good. Candlebox Silverchair, both awesome bands. Both didn't really hang around the way that the other kind of corporate or more corporate ones did.
No. Well, in a lot of these situations, I feel like you bring up like Candlebox and stuff like that, or Silverchairs, that they're riding that same wave of grunge, but that explosion, right, that happens. I think it kills the wave of whatever was going to be.
This is interesting. Grandmaster Pash says, I was living in Seattle playing music in '94 when Kurt died. Which, by the way, we should probably talk about. There's the new JP sent us this crazy thing, the story last night.
I read through the Daily Mail's thing on it. I was like, whoa. Anyways, that was nuts. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that. It says grunge was dying before he killed himself, but you're right, it was absolutely over after he died.
I could definitely see that. I think that, because my favorite Nirvana record is In Utero, and I'm sure everybody here is going to be like, oh, look, here he goes on his fucking hipster soapbox, right? But if that rawness had more of an influence on it and maybe put more people off, because you don't have the big hits that you do of Nevermind. You know, you might have a heart-shaped box, but if you listen to everything else on that record, you know, Serve the Servants and shit like that, like, I love those songs, and I love the, you know, kind of overall dissonance of the whole record, right? It's like very like raw and rough. Who knows what would have continued on? I think, though, that all the other bands were headed in more of a polished direction of things.
I think that's true, you know.
And it was kind of stripping itself down. Now, with that being said, everything has to come to an end. If you look at the original wave of punk rock that happened by 1979, 1980, so you're like 76 to 79, it's pretty much like over. Like, Sex Pistols are broken up. The Clash are about to go and put out Sandinista and then turn around and do Combat Rock by 82. Like, all that stuff is kind of like getting nefarious, and it's all over the place, you know? It's the same thing where it can't be the movement of like the 60s where it goes from like 63 to 69, 70 even. You know, if you can include the Beatles, Hendrix, Cream, Clapton, all that stuff rode that wave until it crashed.
Here's the thing about it, right? Like, here's another part that I think is just organic, right? Like a lot of it's not, but this part of it is tricky. Like, if you're in a genre like grunge or any of these things, and part of the shtick is we can't play, we're not good at our instruments. Do you know what I mean?
You run out of
you either, there's only two places you end up, really.
Yeah.
You either end up when you're my age, you know, you're 40 something or 50. And you're like, wow, they still suck. You know what I mean? And it's like, kind of weird. It's cool seeing a kid do that.
Yeah.
It's cool seeing a 19-year-old do that, 20-year-old, 30-year-old. But then there's this point you're like, wow, this is kind of sloppy and it kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
It loses its charm. Or you get better and everybody says you're too polished and you sold out. Do you know what I mean? There is a weird dichotomy when you hang your hat on like, well,
Yeah. This is what
I'm
we
not,
do.
I mean, but I mean, I always enjoyed Pearl Jam more because I thought, okay, I enjoy this like almost like classic rock, like guitar stuff, right? But I mean,
and I guess with what you're saying, like a Pearl Jam, they had room to expand the sound,
and it was okay.
learn and
It was
grow.
fine,
I guess in a punk world comparison of that too, because Pearl Jam's definitely closer to the classic rock than they are the punk rock
1,000%.
of the grunge.
You think how long has Pearl Jam been on classic rock radio?
Oh,
For a long time now, like a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they were probably kicking on there before the just 2000.
That's what I'm saying. That because they just fit that format more,
I think I've always had a great respect for post-punk bands that push that envelope beyond the 70s, like mid to late 70s into like that right at 1980 point. Just because they could expand that sound. Talking of bands like Talking Heads, people like XTC's having like a cool like comeback in a weird way. So I don't know. I think that would have been cool to see if there were bands in the grunge movement who developed from that. Like, I'm a big Steve Albini fan, and if Nirvana had stuck together, and based on what this Daily Mail thing's saying, this is a good segue into that, if he wasn't killing himself and he was just going to break the band up, what he would have evolved into as a songwriter or an artist had he gotten clean, and what that would have kind of set the stage for next. In a similar sense, Sex Pistols, Johnny Rotten turning into Public Image Limited, which was a vastly different project if you know anything about it. I love that band a lot. So probably more than the Sex Pistols, and some people would probably kick my ass for saying that, but I like it more, So.
Second album when it came out in the aluminum, fantastic.
Dude, it's killer, dude. I mean, I love. It's just it's crazy to see somebody like, because of what the Sex Pistols were, and then to go and do songs like Rise and stuff like that. I'm like, how the fuck do you
how do you get to that?
How can you foresee that you have to move the whole ball forward with the genre,
I just want to say, after punk, though, you had bands like The Replacements, Husker Du, all these guys step forward and
totally
carry the bar.
Oh yeah,
ways.
I think that, and then
Bob Mould is still killing it.
Yes, you go into bands like Black Flag on like a hardcore punk kind of scene where that kind of develops. Like it seems like it's split into subgenres, and it just went in all directions.
All that still seems pretty organic to me.
Yeah,
I don't know that once you get to a certain point, like in the 2000s. I think half the reason that rock is kind of like, other than like the sort of semi-underground stuff,
the Strokes, stuff
like
right.
That. I think most of it's not as organic. It's like, and even if it's not like the label doing it, everybody's like, well, here's how the machine works. We gotta manipulate it. And we gotta have, here's the scene. You know what I mean? I don't know.
It is funny.
Other than just making music you want to make.
I wish Baxter was here to kind of talk on that with the Strokes and the New York scene that was blossoming, and then 9/11 happens. And how that affects it, but also you have all of these label heads and stuff like that coming into that scene and looking at it and deconstructing it and building bands that will basically eat it alive. Like it's not going to last because you're gonna fake a band out of it.
See, now Mary McShee says jam bands have taken up the mantle now. Fish coming back, The Dead and Company, Widespread, String Cheese, Billy Strings. I think that they exist in their own world, their own ecosphere, right? And it's kind of the same thing as like Texas country and like Red Dirt, right? It is outside of no one. They don't care at all. Like what Nashville's doing. They don't care what New York or LA are doing. You know what I mean? And I think jam band is the same way, right? And I think honestly, that's better. Like that's probably the best sort of like parallel economy thing you can point to and say, oh yeah, it's its own thing.
I was talking to Sweet Baby Dave about this the other night, right? Geese. I've seen people sit here and say about Geese, they're the next Nirvana and all this stuff. And here's the issue. I love that as a thought. I don't think that is what it can be anymore, because it's
I'm not sure it can work that way, yeah. Anymore.
I think you do have these pockets where, like you're saying, all these jam bands in their own world, in their own pocket, they are massive. They're huge.
Like Billy Strings, dude.
Billy Strings is huge.
But such a weird outlier.
Totally.
I saw Bobby, our friend Bobby Hancock, sent me he loves Billy Strings, dude.
He'll
go follow him,
yes.
and I mean, it's awesome, right? But he sent me a little video last night or the night before. Anyways, he's up behind and Billy Strings is on a friggin' stage. And I was just thinking about the nightmare of trying to make acoustic guitar sound like naturalish. And there's 70,000 people there. You know what I mean? There's like so many people. And I was like, dude, this is wild that it's like.
Totally.
I mean, I know it's evolved beyond bluegrass. Not really bluegrass anymore, but it's just crazy that exists.
Well, it's wild that he can be there doing that. And then you look at something like the Grammys and what's on that stage. And that we live in a world where there are people at the Grammys who have no idea who Billy Strings is. They have no idea that he's filling 70,000 people into a place, and he's doing it for like 4 nights in a row.
And it's like grassroots, organic talent.
Totally.
Just like, wow,
and
this guy can play and sing.
What is also crazy is it's not just him. You have people in that red dirt country kind of scene. You have these huge alternative bands like My Chemical Romance selling out stadiums. You know, like all of these things are happening, but at no point do they intersect and rub like they did in the 90s whenever Kurt Cobain's going to kick Axl Rose's ass and Madonna's in the same room. Like, all those things aren't...
Well, they're not fighting for, like, time on TRL anymore. You know what I mean? Or, like, in the countdown. You know what I mean? There's room to make your own little world, and they don't have to be concentric at all. You know, it's kind of weird. But
just because I have friends that live in this world, what do you think about Turnstile winning the best heavy metal Grammy?
I was gonna say,
but they're not heavy metal.
No. Well, that's the thing too. We talked about this. It hadn't come out yet, but this Friday's The Station on the news. We talk about the Grammys and how it's a little weird that, for one, everything's separated. Rock's happening in a whole different building, but we're putting Turnstile in the heavy metal territory when it's like just to have a hardcore Grammy because they're a badass hardcore band, you know. But I think some people even in the hardcore scene would be like,
that's what's weird with the Grammys, right? Yeah. It's like the fact, like, I don't even think the categories the Grammys operate under exist in the same way anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, and it's like, and I think that the answer, it's like, well, let's talk about this. This will be a little touchy, right? But Beyonce winning the best country album, right? Everybody's
like I said, Eric Clapton.
There should be, people are like, oh, there should be an urban country thing or whatever, right? And I'm like, well, to me, that seems a little racially charged. I think that she made a pop country album. And I do think that there should be a pop country Grammy and there should be a country Grammy. Because what she did, to me, in my opinion, is pop country. In the same way that Morgan Wallen, Sam Hunt, even though that name is probably defunct to this conversation by now because that's 10 years old, that shit belongs in pop country. To where whenever I think of Americana or things like that, they almost live in their own realm, you know? Because I think a Jason Isbell or a Billy Strings or Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson, those names, to me, as far as songwriters go, belong in their own sort of category. I think there's too much subgenre.
Well, see, I almost think, as much as people want to get and like, you know, well, I think you just kind of define, hey, are we basing this on how many albums are sold or what we think the best art is? Yeah. And those are different things, right? And so, like, you know, I don't necessarily think Chris Stapleton is the best art either.
No.
You know what I mean? So, like, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. I think you just have it and then who cares? Just have a country Grammy and who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just don't think, I think it's a lot of, I don't know, to do about sort of nothing, but.
I mean, I completely agree because I think they are, I say all this more for the sake of what the Grammys are trying to be.
Right.
And less about the fact that if you win a Grammy today, I don't think it means anything compared to what it probably meant 40 years ago.
I think that's true. And to me, that's kind of a shame. Because would it be awesome to win a Grammy? Yes, absolutely it would.
But whenever you seeing some of the people who have won Grammys over other people who you're like, no, that is easily one of the greatest albums ever made. And it's like, but this one because of what? You know, like.
Well, it's just it becomes an industry thing, and who you know and who worked on it, and it's a bit political. But we gotta address some accusations in the chat.
Oh shit!
I came. Mark in the mix says I came in the shop and Baxter was absolutely great. We know it's bullshit right there.
Didn't you hear what he said earlier?
And actually invited me to a little dinner party that was going to take place later that evening. Baxter is great. Again, I can only assume this is Baxter.
He's got to be talking.
He put great in all. Baxter is great. I miss meeting Big Jonathan. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But I'm glad.
You want to stay far away from me, bud. Don't forget it.
No, we missed you when you came in, Mark.
No, man.
Baxter's okay. He's fine. He's fine.
That's right.
It's back in the day, Jethro Tull won a Grammy for Best Metal Album. That's what I'm talking about. And they've been the first metal Grammy. Not sure. Grammy have always been a little goofy. Well, it's so funny because that was back in a time where like metal was like such an odd. Like, what is metal? What's hard rock?
Well, I was going to say, is it that the Grammys are always going to be behind the ball? Oh, yeah. They will always be behind whatever is truly at the center of, like, the cutting edge of music. And I know some people out there are like, there's no cutting edge anymore. I'm like, there is. There is. You got to dig for it, but it's out there.
Listen, I think here's the bottom line. Nostradamus says, at the end of the day, no one can top Janet Jackson's discography. We can stop making new music. So we just feed Janet Jackson's discography into the AI.
Just give me more of that.
Wherever it lands. That's it. That's the end. Most heavy metal bands don't have flutes.
You're damn right.
We could have a battle. The greatest flutes in rock and roll are going to be Jethro Tull and Can't You See?
Can't You See?
Why is my brain going blank on the Marshall Tucker Band? Oh. Battle of the flute rock bands. Can't you see?
Just fluting away. Yeah, no, it's funny that I don't think they will ever live down that Jethro Tull action. That's like, I remember that, like, as far as like being talked about.
Yeah.
Since I remember hearing stuff about the Grammys. Like, is people making fun of that in rock communities.
I mean, it is kind of, that, but, you know, it's just like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
That just shows you the people making maybe a little out of touch.
Well, that's like I was saying, they're always behind the thing.
You can see that junk when you see people post stuff about how they were nominated, consideration for the Grammys, or that they became a part of the Grammy. You know what I mean? And
do you want to tell everybody that you have a small dick? Go out and say, I've been 8 times Grammy considered.
Well, that is the equivalent of saying these days, Nashville recording artist, you know?
Like, I mean, who are you serving with that? Like, besides, obviously, yourself.
Now, I sort of get it, right? Because there are places where, like, I know when I played for guys and we were coming out of Nashville, that we got bookings in clubs all across the country simply because it was a band out of Nashville. So I kind of get that, right? But at least have the decency to put that on your junk you send to those venues that might be snowed by that and care, and not put it out on like
Here's the problem, though. I know plenty of people who do that, and they're usually, and I'll say this as a young, naive jackass, right? They're usually young and naive, and they post things like that onto their social media and put it out there as a flag almost, right? But what I don't think that they usually comprehend is we live in a time now. Before, you didn't have an Instagram and a Facebook page that you had to uphold for places to see, right? The place may see that you send them this EPK, and they're like, okay, well, let me go and look at their social media and see what they're doing. Oh no, they're in Moore County, North Carolina, 18 days out of the month, and I guess they fly to Nashville, and they don't even play a show in Nashville. Okay, that's weird. Like, they're gonna scroll through your shit and see that, you know? Like, I don't know who you're fooling by telling them that you're a Nashville recording performing artist, you know? I mean, hell, like, we can all go and play in the airport, but that doesn't make me shit from playing.
Well, you can go and
He's got lie until. Oh yeah.
Last night.
If you're being honest, that's your first mistake.
Somebody gave us some great advice last night and said, you just have to lie, you know? I know somebody who does that who is a complete fucking loser. It's like, he lies all the time. I'm like...
There is a baked-in like thing now that's like, go fake it till you make it. Make it look way better on Instagram than it really is.
Totally.
And then eventually you're hoping to catch up to this thing you've built, you know?
Well, Milli Vanilli.
I'm just like, oh.
You know what I mean?
Who is JP's Volt? Our JP?
JP.
No.
John,
Damn it, JP!
Everyone looking cool.
You guys stay cool.
Man.
Stay cool.
Can you guys believe the audio this time?
The audio is amazing.
Oh, man.
See, okay, now here's Pour My Songs Out says, I can tell you from formerly working for a major, if we're interested in you, we've been tracking your sales and crowds way before. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right. Now, how long ago, I'm interested, Pour My Songs Out, was it that you were working for a major? Because I wonder, I think that's obviously still true. Like, I wonder how much it's changed now with, like, the influencer crap and how many, like, at what point did it become important, like, how many followers you had on social media? Because I think it is a little bit important now, but
I think,
obviously, if you're to the point where you're having crowds, that's a different
thing. By 2015, 2016, that popped up on everybody's radar. Sorry, as far as like majors go, that's my guesstimation.
But that's why it's neat hearing from somebody who actually is
because that's
looking at the metrics.
Yeah, that is what I would assume. Is like, because I remember hearing artists talk about not being able to release albums until they got up to 1 million followers because they had signed a major label deal, and it's easy to assume, oh well, they just paid for them.
Yeah.
But.
Well, but by the time I was in Nashville, that was like really rampant. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, you see these like all these followers and then post with 0 engagement. You're like, oh,
totally. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It's so easy to spot a fucking bot page.
Okay. Pour My Songs Out says 96 to 2,000. Now it's worse. They won't prove in sales before they sign you. Yeah, that is what I've sort of.
No artist development anymore.
Exactly.
They just want the slam dunks with no work. We know some folks who are coming up here in the North Carolina area, and they fall into that range of they'll hand you a song and they will do or you can hand them a song and they'll do whatever you say, right? Like, and that is right. We view that as like, well, that's probably who's going to go and be successful because they don't care. They have no integrity. You're not going to offend them by saying your songs suck. Here's new songs. They're going to be like, okay.
Here's the Pour My Songs Out says there's no artist development anymore. Like, I kind of watched this happen, right? There used to be development deals with labels where they'd sign you kind of knowing you weren't quite ready and they were going to help mold you a little bit and get you out there playing and get you some experience. And it seems to me like there was a point where publishing companies took that over. So instead of signing songwriters, they would sign these artists to write with other writers. And then they would ship them, or they would sort of shop them to the labels when they were like ready to go. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, but that just turns into everybody taking a little bit more of the pie,
I saw this post Super Bowl. Do you know what Bad Bunny's deal is?
No.
He has a 90-10 deal. He collects 90 of everything. 90 of his touring after you pay out, obviously, all the venues and shit that need to be paid out. 90 of his recording. 90 of his merch. Like, I don't know how.
Is he a writer on all this stuff?
I believe so, yeah. I think it's something where he basically owns and controls so much of his... That is, like, one reason why he also has all this capital, is not only because he's huge, but he has this insane fucking deal, like unheard of deal.
Well, see, there's a weird thing too, where like, I think a lot of people don't think about, like, if you are a songwriter, like there is 100% of the songwriter's share for royalties. There's also 100% of the publishing. So, and a lot of people want some of their publishing, but it gets tricky because like you need someone to do the work of that, and so it becomes like usually as you get more, successful. You got some leverage to say I want, especially if you're the sole writer. You know what I mean?
It's like the Counting Crows situation, where they took way less money on the front end, but like wanted all of their publishing, wanted to own way more of themselves, which I think is always the answer. Like it's the harder choice at the beginning because like in the Counting Crows situations, they said that they all got $3,000 each. That was their sign-on bonus. That was it.
And they took that less because it gave them more control.
That's right.
Because if you take that crazy upfront money, it's just a bank, right? Like then you just are kind of on, and then you might make all this money just to get back to like paying off that debt to get back to even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
I mean, is in a lot of ways the dumber deal. If you own yourself, then no one can fuck you. Now you are gambling, but also
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate here. I'm not necessarily saying I think this, right? Because Sparkbrain said, why would you want to sign with anyone? All that does is put you in a box and in debt to them. I 100% agree. Learn to do everything yourself. That way, when your music makes money, you're the one making the money. The temptation, I think, right, is there's that thing in your brain that says, like, 100% of nothing. It's nothing. So, and I think if you're a songwriter, right, and you're thinking about the publishing stuff, you kind of have to think, like, I wouldn't give any of my songwriting rights away, but like the it's so tricky because there's so much crap. Everybody is doing that. How in the world do you differentiate yourself?
You know this for being in this industry, in this business for this long, right? And I think I see the negatives to the DIY mentality, having always lived by that, is that you can want that and you can do that, but at a certain point, wearing so many hats and trying to propel the thing forward constantly can really bog you down. And I don't mean that as to say like you shouldn't work hard. I'm saying that you will be working hard
and can kill the creative part
and
of
it crushes you.
I kind of get that, and
yes.
It's hard to have a team when you're doing everything and you don't have money to front for a team, unless you find other people who are just like gonna bet on you and will do it for sort of nothing until
something happens. Right?
Hopefully, right?
Hopefully,
because even the labels, right? Like the 1% pays for everybody, right? They know they sign all these people who end up never ever paying their money back, right? It's the big 1% that like makes the money to pay for
everyone else.
Everybody. So it's just kind of
well, and with that too, it's like saying, okay, so I am gonna learn it just like how I had to learn how to play guitar, play keys, record my own music, mix my own music, produce it to some degree that's actually listenable, get it out on the streaming services, figure out how to go and buy merch and make merch and do my own merch if I want to DIY everything. Figure out how to print physical copies of my music to sell at the venue, and then also book gigs.
Dude,
find a band. Bill it out, do it with other bands from that area, set up a tour, all those things, right? Or have all these systems that are already at play that are going to say, yeah, you can plug into us. We're going to take 15% of whatever you make. And that is per deal.
That's pretty. That's the part that.
Yes.
Dude.
That's the thing.
I don't want to do that stuff. Like, and it's so hard for me.
And our friends like, Zach Person. We love Zach. Zach's out touring, busting his ass. But he's got a really good, what are they? It's like his tour management stuff, like as far as like his booking manager, that's who it is, who does that somebody who does his merchandising and stuff like that, And I think even some of that stuff he has his hands in as well. But some people would probably say, oh, well, that's not doing it himself fully. It's like, because he fucking,
well, but to have any of those people, you have to build yourself up to a point where those people, it's just like who was it said that Pour My Songs Out said, like they got to know they got a slam dunk. So like the fact that Zach has those things means he's built himself to a point where like, oh, we know we can book him and make money. Like we know that if we manage this guy, like he can have good gigs. You know what I mean? Like
our friend 89 Volt has spent 10 years
grinding
his ass off.
Here's what's gonna happen, right? And somebody asked before if I was an 89 Volts band or a higher guy. I'm just 89 Volts friend. Like he did the thing here and we played for him, but I wish I was an 89 Volts band. He's got a stupidly good guitar player named Dustin McCook. Check that dude out if you hadn't. Amazing. And he only kind of recently has been touring with him all the time. I think since they've gotten a little bigger. For a while he might be there, he might not. But
that's also due to he's grinding his ass off.
But I'm saying, what's going to happen?
Pay that guy.
What's going to happen? Inevitably, he's going to do this tour with the Black Keys. If he has any success and pops out, people are going to be like, "Oh my God, an overnight success!"
And it happens every time. They found this guy out of nothingness. He just appeared.
And we've seen Eddie driving around the country in his little hatchback in his van, and just touring his ass off, going to Texas, going to wherever, sleeping on somebody's floor.
Recording all of his shit himself at home with nothing
in their house.
Finally, to like having a sizable board and actually being able to do it to the way that they want it.
This part, I like this. What the Sparkbrain says: if you bring people into your music, make them work on commission. My publisher doesn't get paid until I do, and I don't. Yeah, anyone who, if you're getting started like that, anyone who just wants like $1,200 a month, blah, blah, to manage you or something. Not always, but I'd say most of the time, dude, that's like predatory.
Yeah.
All the ones I've seen like that, it borders on scam at the very best.
Yeah.
If it's not just outright.
That is where I think you have to have the do-it-yourself attitude, but you also have to understand that you will have to delegate some of those things, but knowing when somebody
you got to pay attention.
Yes.
Because it would be so tempting if someone said to me like, hey dude, you could just
Johnny, I'm gonna
write
do
songs and just show up and play.
Yeah.
And don't worry about it. Like if that was true, my God, it would be amazing.
Hell yeah.
But that's how you get screwed over.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So but it's a weird double-edged sword.
I'll tell you the words because I heard them come out of somebody's mouth just like you did, and I'm sure you've heard it from other people besides this person. If you ever hear somebody say the words, it's happening. If you ever hear somebody say the words, you're gonna be a big star, you're gonna be massive, run. Run away from that motherfucker, because what they should be saying is, hey, we're gonna have to work really fucking hard. But I think we can do something because
like,
you're talented.
Let's don't count our chickens before they're hatched kind of thing.
Literally,
like all that kind of stuff.
Anything that is more humbling than it's happening and always selling you the lie, dude. Selling you the dream.
But now, and I'm with the Spark Brain. Like I don't mind giving somebody their percentage if they produce business for me. I mean, that's true too, right? Like, if somebody is doing work for you and there's a percentage, it's
Yeah, we should
within reason. It could be worth.
Yeah.
Cardinal Black is a DIY unit. I think they just signed to 30 Tigers. I mean, it is funny about Cardinal Black, right? Like, so much of that, I would like, I mean, I don't know this, but it'd be interesting to know, like, how much of that is driven by his YouTube success.
Yeah.
Right? Now, God knows if there's anybody who is deserving of, like, being out there playing. Chris Buck's
He's
ridiculous player.
phenomenal. Yeah.
So I'd like to go see him. But it's funny, right? Like, there's plenty of guys probably like that, you know what I mean? But now he grounded it out on YouTube, so.
I think we talked about this some last week or maybe in a video or something. Maybe we were just talking in the shop about it, but going to guys' gigs and they're selling pedals and guitars behind the merch booth. Like, at what point is it solely about that and not so much about the music and the art and stuff? And some of you might argue, well, it is about the music because it's about the guitarist, it's about the sound that guy's making, which is fine in itself. But I also think, like, thinking about guitar players that I love, they're usually tied to songs that I love. And that just depends on what you're into. If you just want the soul guitar player, like for guys who love Steve Vai's and Satriani's and stuff like that, But I think it's really hard for some of those dudes, and I'm sure if we could talk to Chris Buck, he'd be like, yeah, no, it kind of sucks that sometimes his band and the songs that they do can't be seen as songs. They always have to be like, people cheer for the guitar solo, and that's it. And that would be like a kick in the dick.
I see, that almost wouldn't bother me. I would just it would push me to want to make sure the songs were good enough. I would never want people to come to a show.
Yeah.
I do want them to cheer for the guitar parts, and I do want them to want that, but I wouldn't want them to leave and be like, damn, I don't know the lyrics to any of the songs.
Yeah.
Because I've been to shows like that, and I won't say who, I've said it before, where, like, I loved it, and I loved the guitar playing, but then I left, and I was like, man, I can't hum one.
Yeah.
There's no chorus that stayed in my head. There's no part, what I mean? Because that's the sort of, like, longevity of anybody if they got a body of work, right? Like,
wanting to, I guess, write something that has an effect on people in a way that, sticks with them, or at least, like, I guess it's that whole thought process of leaving the world in a better place than where you found it. And I think that is a good sign of that, like the thing that makes you want to get something tattooed on your body, the thing that makes you want to hum along, the thing that picks you up whenever you're at, like, the shittiest part of your day, your life, whatever that thing is, or the best time. Either way you go, whatever that thing is, I think that is the impact that you hope to make as a songwriter.
That's kind of a good way to put it, I think. But Mayor McChee says, I want to pay for bands to record albums, but best believe I'm taking a sizable cut for taking literally all the financial risk. I mean, I think that's fine, right? But, like, I know you personally, so I know that you'd have their best sort of interests at heart. You know what I mean? And you'd be picking bands based on criteria that I think are good.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I don't think that's always the case. But you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In there, it's just you got to be careful if you're the band and you don't know the person, right? Because you know.
Well, I think they weigh it on like more often than not. Those predatory people, what they look at is, oh, this guy's handsome. Oh, that girl's really cute. Okay, they're X age.
It's a sure thing.
They've got this much time, so I think we can work on this. I mean, they sing like shit and their fucking songs suck, but I mean, hell, I can buy a song and I can get them singing lessons. And at the end of the day, we can always just run a track with it. It's fine. Like that's
Simon Cowell, is that you?
No, literally. I mean, that's welcome to the business, baby.
And I mean, I don't even mean that like he'd tell you that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even mean that that's wrong.
Well,
it's just
it's funny.
You know.
I watched that Milli Vanilli documentary, and it's so crazy to think 40 years ago, you would be fucking burned on a damn stake if you were fucking caught lip syncing. You know, they would fucking murder you with fire. To today, it's like, okay, cool, neat, whatever.
I mean, I like that. There's some very good opinions on here. Greg, this is a huge, great, wonderful point, and this is the truth. He says this isn't very rock and roll. But first and most important person you hire for your team, before manager or anything, is a great entertainment lawyer, and that is the God's honest truth. Yes. You know, or at the very least, you better have one that you like and that you are having check out your stuff.
Yes.
If you're signing real thing, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because those guys have seen it all. They've seen, like, if you talk to a good entertainment lawyer, they've seen all the predatory stuff, and they'll just flat out be like, don't, you know what I mean?
Don't do it.
So, you know.
And I mean, that is, you know, I think you need that because we have friends, and I won't put them out here like this. It's their story to share, but they have been in those situations and signed on to things that fucked them royally whenever they figured it out. And they said, shit, okay, this is bad.
So, you know, this is good. Dude. Good things to remember.
Yeah.
Or just play your guitar and enjoy it in your own the confines of your home or your little dive bar. But either way, man, I guess it's 11:30. I guess we better wrap it up.
It is fun to get active though and get after it. So start a band, go out, play shows. Don't worry about any of this shit until it's time to worry about it. You know, and write a bunch of songs and play a bunch of guitar. Because at the end of the day, fuck them. That's what I say.
And from there, we leave you now.
That's right.
Words of wisdom from Sean.
I mean, hell.
No, no, you guys are awesome. Thanks for always hanging out with us. Thanks to Kevin for coming and hanging out in the studio, live studio audience.
I don't need lunch now. I never eat breakfast.
That's
so
a lie.
Like, dude,
that is a lie.
It's amazing.
There you go.
Shalom to all. Take care, guys. Bye from Canada.